Hey friends, it's Liz, your official craft nerd, and today I have some awesome tray ideas for you guys. These are going to be a mixture of thrift store trays as well as Dollar Tree and some different ideas for them. So let's get started. Okay, so first up, I found this ginormous serving tray at Goodwill, and there was no way I was leaving this behind, y'all. I mean, you can see this thing was dirty. It's covered in like this, I want to say it's faux leather, but it may actually, maybe it's real leather. I'm not sure. But it was dirty, it was gross, but I said, you know, for a few dollars, this thing was, you know, well worth it because I knew it was going to have good bones underneath of it. So as you can see, I'm tearing all that stuff off, and I am not going to waste video on y'all watching me rip apart that thing. Once it was destroyed, basically, down to its bare bones, I sanded it up, and then I'm also taking just a little bit of this Goo Gone to the sides and the edges because the adhesive they used for the leather was quite tacky still, even though you can tell this piece was pretty old, but I could not get a lot of it off. Like, it was still kind of tacky. So I just did a little trick here and took some Mod Podge and basically sealed in all of the sides and edges that still had some of that leftover adhesive residue from the leather. Once that was done and dry, I was like, okay, I'm going to try my candle, technique again. And I know from my last video, a lot of you had told me about trying Vaseline. I will have to go and try that. I don't have any Vaseline, so I'm sticking with my candle for now, but definitely up for trying new ways to distress. I love distressing. So once that is all done, I'm taking just some Rust-Oleum linen chalk paint, and I'm giving this guy, I think I did about 2 coats, just to make sure that, it looked pretty even and there wasn't a lot of streakage. And I dried in between each coat, of course, I just wanted to make sure that this was nice and solid. Now, I realized after seeing some comments on my last video that the reason the chalk paint and the wax doesn't distress well enough, I should say, is because I used my heat gun and I heated it all up, and I should have let it dry naturally, and I didn't do that. So that's probably why, even with this and these projects in this video today, didn't do what I really wanted it to. But now that I know, and this is what's wonderful about you awesome subscribers out there, you guys let me know when you have different techniques and things that work for you, and I appreciate it because I will definitely try those myself. So what it, as you can tell here, it did work as far as getting some of the edges off and on the corners. It really didn't do a whole lot on the middle part, which is probably because I dried it up so much. So now that I know, so this, you guys, I love these transfers. I ordered these off Amazon. I will link them in my description box below. And these are from Redesign. And I got they're just decor transfers, the rub-on transfers. The version I got is called the Floral Home. There is about 4 different transfers in this kit. I believe it was about 25 bucks. Don't quote me because I would have to double check. But these were absolutely beautiful. So I chose this one because I definitely wanted to keep this in my, shabby chic, loving French decor type style, whatever, and thought this was going to be perfect. So I just kind of centered it up, and you just kind of stick it on. The kit does come with this wooden kind of scraper tool that you can use to do the application process of this. I will say this took quite a bit of time. I tried that tool. I tried my good old pokey thing from Cricut that I use on all my other transfers, and just kind of go at it like I'm drawing with a pen. But this transfer was pretty time consuming. I won't say it's difficult. I just would say you definitely need to have patience. You want to take your time and making sure that you get it all completely secured down before pulling up the paper, because it will stretch the transfer, and it could, you know, leave a lot of wrinkles and bubbles and things like that. So you can kind of see me here. I just kind of rub over anything that looks a little wrinkled. And I'll tell you, even after doing that, if it did leave a little crease or crinkle or anything like that in the transfer, I loved it because it gave it more character. And you guys already know, I am not particular when it comes to wrinkles and tears and bubbles and stuff like that. Stuff happens when you craft, y'all, and I just make the best of it and learn to love it in all its imperfections. So don't go crazy and try to be perfect. I mean, now if that's your thing, you know, okay, cool, you know. But I will say that, you know, maybe doing transfers probably won't work for you then, only because these things, as much as you try, they, you know, they're not going to be perfect when they come out, but they are sure close to it. Y'all, look how beautiful this is. Like, I'm blown away. I love the colors. I love everything about it. So of course I'm going to seal this big boy up with some of my waterproof Mod Podge, and figured, you know what, this is going to be a perfect coffee table. I'm actually going to put legs on this. Now, I didn't do it for this video because my legs, I do not have my drill working right now, so I could not do it. However, the tray by itself, this is the final piece to it. Once I do actually put my legs on it, I will post a picture on Instagram and show you guys. But definitely never overlook these big, large pieces when you go thrifting or to Goodwill, because they can turn out to be absolutely gorgeous. You'll have to tell me what you guys think about this one down below. Okay, so this next one, this is also going to be kind of an upcycle, you know, thrift project that I had. I found this tray at Goodwill many, many months ago and finally was like, yes, I'm going to do something with it. So, of course, here I am again with my wax candle and, you know, thinking I'm going to do some good distressing on this. Y'all, let me just tell you, full disclaimer, before we get started on this project gave me so many issues. Oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start. And I will tell you that I will show you what, you know, I'm going through this whole process. I'm showing you how I did it the first time. And I'll show you the final piece of that. But I've got to tell you, I hated it so much. And, you know, and honestly, it's not bad, but I hated it so much I had to redo it. So in any case, you see me covering it up. I'm using Rust-Oleum linen chalk paint, and I gave the top about a good coat, maybe two, I don't know. And so I had these old legs. I found them at, I believe it was an antique mall. I found a bunch of bags of like old legs and things like that. And I thought, yes, you know, I'm going to use this. I'm going to make a little like bedside, or not like a bedside table, but like the little serving tables that you can put while you're in bed and, you know, whatever. So it is what it is. Lap table, lap tray, whatever you want to call it. You guys know how I am. I never know what to call anything. But this is what we're going to do. We're gluing these down. Now, the legs were my first, I guess, probably mess up because I'm using this super wood glue thinking, oh, okay, this is great. This is going to be secure and hold really well. And it did for a minute or two. And then like, as soon as I bumped them, they busted off. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like you literally got to let these things cure and hold fast for, I would say, at least 24 to 48 hours. And I had to resecure them with hot glue the next time, but I don't show you doing that, or show you me doing that. There we go. Now here you can see me trying my hardest to scrape up and get that distressed look. And again, you know, like I said previously, I didn't know that by drying it up like I did, it wasn't going to work very well. So lesson learned. And, you know, I did get some pieces like those handles kind of came off. And, you know, it was okay. It wasn't really what I wanted. I just worked with it. Okay. So then I am taking these stencils, and these are also stencils I've ordered off Amazon. I can also link these down below for you too. These are super cute. I was excited to work with this. Again, this is going for that French country shabby chic look. And I thought, okay, I'm going to tape this down. I got it nice and centered. I'm going to take some Waverly chalk paint and ink, and I'm just using a stenciling brush, and I'm just dabbing. That's all I do for this whole entire stencil, is I'm going to just dab it. Not too hard. Don't be too heavy on it. You know, it's easier to go lighter at first and darken it up as you need to. And I do dry this up a little bit here so I can easily remove my stencil and not have any kind of leaks or bleeds or anything like that. And I thought it came out really, really nice. I was really excited. I said, okay, this looks great. So next step, I'm taking this next stencil that I bought. And I love this because this is just like this beautiful cursive French writing. And yeah, I was like, okay, I have to have it. Now, the first mess up that I don't show you here is if you notice on the left side of this tray already, it's kind of got some funky smudgy marks. You can see where the paint isn't as dark. Well, because I decided to start stenciling this, you know, handwriting stencil backwards on the other side, and I thought, oh no, I can't do that. Everybody's going to notice this that it's backwards. So I had to wipe it down, clean it up, kind of paint over it again. So yeah, so there was the first mess up for this, besides the legs. So I'm doing the same process. Now I want to just kind of do the handwriting around my center piece there, and as you can see there, it's a really pretty stencil, and it's very light and simple, and it's just enough for what I wanted. So I was like, okay, cool, this is working. So I'm going to move this over, and I'm going to stencil the same way on the other side, doing an up and down motion, you know, just the same dabbing technique, going around the center, you know, simple as that. And, you know, I really thought the stencil was just awesome. Everything just looked really good. Yeah, and then I'm like, okay, let me sand it down because, you know, I like to do that after I stencil. I feel like it definitely adds the age and the distressed look to anything that you stencil onto wood. But yeah, I don't know. I still wasn't really feeling it, you know. And so then I thought, okay, well, let me seal it. I'm going to use my waterproof Mod Podge to seal it. Now, y'all, that black paint was dry. I promise you it was dry. And no, that Mod Podge smeared the crud out of my middle stencil. And I just got so fed up with it. I dried it off, and then I was like, oh, I'm going to sand it off, like whatever. It made me so angry. I had to stop, and you know, yeah. So the next day I went back and I repainted it and stenciled it again. But you can see here, I didn't even put the clear coat on it, you know, to seal it. And it's very noticeable, and I just hated how grungy and dark it looked like. And you know I like dirty things. This was not cute to me though. So I think had the black not smeared and it stayed the pure white and everything, it would have looked great. But I decided, nope, not going to do it. So for a third time, I went over this and redid it. This time I just completely covered it in Waverly chalk paint ink and did the stencil in the white linen. So I really liked how this turned out. And y'all, you know, Farmhouse doesn't own black and white, y'all. You can do this for Shabby Chic or whatever. This could go for anything, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. And this is probably my favorite version of this tray. Okay, y'all, so for my last project, I was like, okay, everybody gets these little trays at Dollar Tree. You see them all the time. And let's just make a real cute little like accessory tray for your bathroom or, you know, for your vanity or whatever. So taking this little tiny tray here, and I'm going to go ahead and use this folk art. I think this color is like vintage rose. I can't remember, but it's a beautiful shade of pink, and it's not as light as the others. It's got more of a deeper tone to it. and I think it's absolutely beautiful. It's one of my favorite pinks to use. So, and these trays actually really took the paint on very well. I only had to do one coat for the entire tray, and it absorbed it so nicely. And for the bottom, I am using these little beads. They were part of that brain teaser game that Dollar Tree has, and I took it apart and knew that I was going to use these little beads for a future project because I definitely like the shape of them and thought these would make real cute little feet. I'm just going to use some hot glue for this, you guys. I'm not messing with that wood glue. Not this time, y'all. So I glue those on there, and then I'm going to go ahead and paint the bottom the same color along with the feet as well. So for this last technique, I wanted to do a stamping technique, and I'm going to use some of my amazing Tim Holtz stamps. Y'all, you know, you've heard it from me before. I'm obsessed with anything Tim Holtz, and I've got tons of stamps, and I just thought these would be absolutely beautiful. And so I'm using paint. Now, this is the first time I've tried to paint with my stamp, and I know other crafters do it. I've seen it. I don't think I'm a big fan of it. I've always been very particular. I keep my stamps with my inks, and that's all I use. But you know, I thought, well, I know, I'd give it a try, see if it'll work. And as you can see, you know, this flower stencil, or this flower stamp, was really not laying down the paint like I wanted it to. Now, the female head, like, she actually came out pretty good, and I was really impressed with that. So, but I do go back and I try to fix the flower. I add a little bit more paint to the middle and see if I can get it, you know, just a little bit nicer. And really, truthfully, if it's not perfect, that's fine. You guys know me, I like to embrace imperfection, and it definitely works with my, you know, love of distressed and worn out looking things. But I do decide to give up on the paint. So I found my ink, and I'm just going to go ahead and ink stamp the sides of my tray with this really adorable little postage type stamp. And then there's also a longer stamp that you see there that says handmade, and I thought that would be really, really cute to place on the bottom of my tray as well. And to finish this up, I go ahead and take my sanding block, and I'm just going to rough it up. Again, just kind of, you know, make it look a little bit worn down, and you know, the kind of aesthetic that I like. But you know, this technique I think would be awesome if I just would have stuck with ink instead of doing the paint. So I do know that for future, and I will be trying some more stamping with my projects here in the future. So, but this is how it turned out, and I think it's adorable, and it's super easy, super affordable to make, and anybody can do it. And I don't know, I just loved it. So I really hope that with all of these different types and styles of trays that I've showed you, that it kind of inspires you to maybe recreate if you have like an old tray laying around. And like I said, guys, I find trays all the time at Goodwill and thrift stores and stuff like that. So they're definitely an easy project to flip and make, and you know, they're perfect gifts and decor pieces for your home. So, oh, there's that ugly white tray. Oh my gosh, you guys. Anyway, I really, really hope you enjoyed this video. And again, if you're new here, I do hope you stick around and subscribe. And for all of my friends that continue to support me each and every week, I love y'all. Thank you guys so much for everything. And, you know, until next time, stay safe.